Alright folks, welcome back to some more Legacy of the Void show match action. This one isn't really for anything or about anything, we just wanted to have some good matches here on Legacy of the Void, test some stuff in the process, and have a good time. Livy, I want to thank you once again for joining me here on the cast, and spawning here on the rightmost side of Dash and Terminal. It's going to be the pink Terran player, Beastyqt.
Beautiful color. I approve, Beastie, I approve. Opposing him is the red Zerg player. He goes by Acer Blind.
Alright, so, real quick, have I told you the story about the bees near my house?
No, are they adorable and awesome and
No, it's terrible and horrifying and ridiculous.
Wow.
So, I have nothing against bees. I recognize the importance they have to the planet as a whole and how we would die without them. But holy shit, nothing freaks me out more than a bunch of little things with stingers buzzing around. So there's this huge plot. It's like a huge abandoned, like 40-acre, like field type thing, and it's been abandoned for my like whole life that I've lived here in this town. And normally what I do is when I go to Subway and I walk back, I walk down the street next to that, just because it's a different way to walk home, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they recently, I guess, got a bunch of started up beekeeping. There's all these boxes. There's like seriously like thousands of boxes in this field of bees, and I'm like, oh, because you kind of see that swarm above them, and it's just like this hazy cloud. The thing is, even though it's really far away from the highway and really far away from the street in which I'm walking, you could still, like, you get swarmed by bees walking down that street. And now I never go down that street anymore. Because I just sat there and I had, like, a bee land on my face. I'm like, okay, don't panic. They can sense fear, right? Just be calm and walk fast and get out of here.
I mean, if you think about it, bees are actually really cool in theory because bees have to be damn sure that they actually want to sting you, and for that they will give their life. So we've got much to learn from bees, if you ask me.
Yeah, but then you got those hornet assholes who don't die when they sting you, and they look just like bees.
Well, they're a bit scarier looking, but hornets aren't even bees, let's be honest. They're just evil.
They are wannabes. Okay,
we do have some... that one feels pretty good.
We do have some things actually coming out. We got a couple of links coming across the map. Bly looks like he was trying to bait out the Marines to be in the wrong spot, but they are here to cover the SCV building the command center, so a non-issue as he does keep this alive. It's also worth noting that BC chose to prioritize, rather than a bunker up front, a supply depot in the back to prevent any sort of runarounds. Kind of not a huge deal, but interesting, because I guess this is Bly after all. The guy who loves his burrow roaches, who loves his sneak attacks. I mean, God, just this roach rush in general. This is Bly in a nutshell.
That's exactly what we're seeing, Rifkin. He's got that roach warren and 9 roaches almost to completion at this point. Another gas going down behind this. Looks like he wants to possibly tech behind it. As you said, burrow roaches maybe? Maybe he's getting that extra gas either to transition to layer tech or to just get some sort of burrow upgrade. We'll have to wait and see. But he definitely wants to drone behind this for the meantime.
Yeah, Bly is one of these guys who's very insistent on making roaches work, whether it's Ravagers.
Ravagers, that's what the extra gas is for. I forgot you could make these things. Legacy of the Void, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, one of the really cool things, though, is Ravagers are no longer classified as armored units, so tanks don't blast them away the same way they used to. Additionally, they recently introduced an upgrade that gives Ravagers the same range as a tank for their special ability, Corrosive Bile.
Yeah, and I really like the Corrosive Bile, just to be able to pick off bunkers, supply depots, and even tanks. So we're gonna see him like probably just chip away at the edge of this bunker, not taking any damages on these Ravagers at all. Beastyqt is gonna pull down some SCVs to try and repair it. Roaches getting caught in the front line actually takes some fire damage from the siege tank.
Yeah, but even so, despite breaking the bunker, there's not a flood of links coming behind this. I don't think it's going to get a lot more done. In fact, a bit of a waste out of Bly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Trying to target down that tank, even doing some Corrosive Bile shots on it as well. But unfortunately, it doesn't get taken out. A couple of SCVs did get taken out, and that was nice for Bly. Unfortunately, Bly does not have a third base behind this. So it is 2 base versus 2 base. And Terran in this patch still does have mules.
Well, I mean, technically they always had mules. It was just a question of like whether they could use them or not. Or I guess no, you're right. There was the one patch where they completely removed them. That's right.
Yeah, they were gone, and it was amazing. And then Zerg had auto injects, and that no longer is happening. So sad Zerg face, but that's okay. Reaper is doing some harass or scouting rather in the main base.
Whatever, bro. You got 8 armor Ultralists. You got Broodlords being viable in the late game. You're gonna have a hard time getting sympathy from me.
If we can get to the late game, let's be honest.
Oh!
Likes the 2 base timings.
I see. This is becoming a balance wine cast.
I mean, yeah, Zerg does have some pretty good late game units, but it's all about getting there, my friend.
Well, we'll see if Bly does get there. This guy actually really likes using Broodlords when given the opportunity, but this, I don't know. He didn't really cause enough damage. He threw away a lot of his army. One of the worst things about that attack for him was, you know, he wasn't droning. Those could have, should have, would have been drones. Could have had his 3rd base up and running. He would have had a lot of economy and greed going on behind this, but instead, Bly's just kind of barely on even footings with Beasty.
I feel like instead of actually committing into the engagement, losing roaches left, right, and center, he could have just stayed on the threat outside the natural base of the SCV, continuing with the corrosive bile, making sure that SCVs weren't mining, having to be staying on repair. And that would have actually been a lot more cost efficient for Bly, rather than losing a lot of units to the siege tanks.
You know, another thing you could have done was poise the Ravagers behind the natural mineral line and just threw corrosive bile shots over there too. But okay, Beasty, he's going to push with some tanks. They're in medevacs. This is going to be really annoying to deal with, of course. Burrow's on the way, but it's a long way out. I don't know that Bly can actually deal with this. It's the marine support underneath the tanks that makes this even more deadly.
Yeah, this is going to be very hard. There's even an SEV here, maybe for a couple of repair shots on the siege tanks, maybe even some medevacs. But
maybe he just wants some blood. Let me be. Look at him go. He's with the Marines.
This is going to do a lot of damage. The siege tanks adding the DPS to the front lines here.
But here comes those things from behind. I love that they kited away from the tanks initially, but unfortunately it's not quite going to be enough. Beasty will hold strong with his army, but Bly, I don't know, like pull the drones, pull them back, pull them away, burrow, something, anything, just get away from his base.
The important thing here for Beasty is that 2 siege tanks, the initial 2 are still remaining. Like, where did that SCV go? He could have repaired the siege tank, but unfortunately I believe it did get taken out.
I told you that SCV wasn't for repair, and that SCV was for fighting, alright?
Hero SCV taking some shots.
Quite a few workers going down through this too. Now, Bly did save most of the workers of the natural, but oh gosh, you know, there's a big tech upgrade going here for Beasty. He's got +1 on his side, Stim's done, Comet Shields is done. He's got everything he wants as a Terran player, whereas Bly's got really nothing. There's no +1 range weapons upgrades. There's no tunneling claws, just simply burrow. This is going to be a pretty tough game for him to play out.
I agree. I mean, the creep spread isn't particularly amazing for Bly. His 3rd base only now has begun saturation. And he's stuck on this kind of roach production, which against Bio isn't the most mobile or, I guess, best unit counter
Thingamajig.
Roaches thingy thing.
There you go.
There we go. But 3 siege tanks in medevac's gonna try and do some damage to the mineral lines, targeting down a queen to start with.
So it's worth noting, Bly actually has some really cool, very unique to him tactics when it comes to dealing with tank drops, and he prefers, rather than going Mutalisks, instead doing tunneling claws with the roaches, and it ends up working out really well. He just seems to be the only one to pull it off. The problem is, though, these tanks have been causing quite a bit of damage while this is going on, and these burrowed roaches are still a long way out from tunneling claws. Well, I guess not too long, but it feels like a long time.
Yeah, he does have burrow, and I like that he can heal these roaches from the siege tank damage. I guess area effect splash damage that it does, but the problem with that is that they don't actually attack up. He can transfer them into Ravagers, which does the corrosive bile shots, which attacks air and ground, but
the shots are delayed. It's really hard to actually land and hit.
Against the mobility of the medevacs, just makes it so much more difficult. I feel like Beastyqt's position in this game is one I'd prefer to be in.
Ooh, Bly actually just gave away a critical piece of information to that burrowed roach. First off, great job denying the base as long as he did, but now Beasty's going to be aware there's going to be tunneling claw roaches, and there's already turrets up in the random places because he knows he's going to need that detection. Again, this is Bly he's playing against. Bly's predictable in a lot of ways and also stubborn in a lot of ways, but frankly, this strategy wins him a lot more games than he loses.
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely do multi-prong attacks Bird Roach, trying to abuse the lack of vision from Beastyqt, but I feel like Beastyqt, he's kind of on top of this. He's got missile turrets in some pretty key locations. He's going into the main base now while wrapping around the third with Bird Roaches to try and kind of hinder the economy at the third base, but he's losing so many roaches in the production of this.
That pre-scan was amazing too for BC because he knew Bly was going to bro the second he got the opportunity. He's still trying to escape up here towards the north. South side doesn't really have a lot of threat. Those tanks should be able to clean this up. There's a turret down here as well. So detection, a non-issue. Bly getting some kills. It's nice, but it's hardly enough to devastate Beastie. And unfortunately, roaches are, well, not expensive. The only part of his army, he gives it all away.
Oh, yeah, 2 Bird Roaches left remaining. Beastyqt does throw down the scan, finishing up those 2 Bird Roaches. Now, Bly, he is going to get the carapace and melee upgrades with centrifugal hooks. So behind this, he is going to be transitioning into Bane Muta. But I fear for Bly, it is a little bit too late. Beastyqt is already on 141 supply to Bly's 113.
Yeah, this drop in the main is almost pure Marauders, so it's just going to deal with the Roaches a lot easier than Marines would. Meanwhile, the main push coming through the middle of the map still has that tank support. He can use this really anywhere he wants. Just get the shots off on the Roaches. There we go. Marauders unloading with this too. Bly not with a lot left, just a lot of Roaches. God, there's so many Marauders.
Those 30 Zerglings to pop, but even if the Zerglings pop, I feel like they're not really going to deal too much damage with the these 3 tank backup.
He's going to lose his bailing nest. He's not going to get bailing speed. That's going to make this almost impossible to deal with. Pre-scanning once again for the Roaches. He knew they were coming in. And for Bly, that's, you know, question in chat came up, did Bly throw the game with that first attack? And I would almost argue yes, but definitely with the dedicated follow-up, not causing any damage. And Beastie was just way too well prepared for this. Bailing's waddling as best they can, but they're not actually going to find anything they can connect with. Marauders can take those hits all day.
Yeah, definitely a trade that Beastyqt does not mind taking. Bly's going to tap out, pulls the GG, and Beastyqt is going to take game number 1.